What the actual whole grain is happening?
A clown carrying balloons and flowers came to the front door.
Someone dressed as a clown.
Dressed as a clown.
Dressed as a clown. A clown.
30 years.
30 years later. 30 years ago.
Clown case.
The clown pulled out.
Cold case.
New developments in that cold case.
Have you ever heard of a deathbed confession?
Like a scene straight out of the Hollywood film It.
The defendant ended up marrying the victim's husband.
This is an exceptional case that was 27 years old.
The case went cold.
Everybody knew Marlene loved clowns.
Classic lover's triangle with modern forensics.
Intent to seek the death penalty in this case.
Police say she nearly got away
30 years ago. 30 years.
Twice in the face.
In the face.
My father was directly involved.
Oh, hi there. Hello, hello, hi. It's my face again. Swoop, 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 ah, swoop, ah, swoop, swoop, ah. So, wow, I have finally finished this true crime mystery doc that I've been working on forever. In fact, just a little secret, I've actually filmed this over a couple of months, so y'all might notice an upgrade for Miss Swoop between this and the earlier shots. More on that another time.
A person disguised as a clown walked up to Marlene Warren's Aero Club home. Investigators are trying to find the...
Now, I chose this story because it's fascinating and creepy as hell. It involves an affair, lies and deceit, rich people scandal, and an actual killer clown. Like my actual nightmare. Oh, hi, pork chop. Oh, and you know what? Quick shout out to Miss Bailey Sarian. I'm actually wearing her honey ring right now. I couldn't possibly dive into this world of true crime and mystery without mentioning her. She is honestly the nicest, most genuine person. Like, I adore her so much. And you probably know, but she pioneered the series Murder Mystery Makeup on YouTube. If you haven't watched it, you are in for a treat. Say hi, Bailey. Okay, bye. Alright, we have a lot to cover with this story, but real quick before we get into this, we have incredible sponsors who I am super stoked about, as well as a new charity donation. Whoo, come through, costume change. I don't know about y'all, but I've really been into self-care and spoiling myself, especially after the year we had, and fragrance is one of the best ways to treat yourself. So Confessions of a Rebel is a new niche fragrance brand that is all about celebrating the spirit of rebelliousness that we all have. Yes, you. I know you got a little rebel side, you cheeky devil. Confessions of a Rebel fragrances blend traditionally feminine notes with masculine undertones and vice versa to create amazing fragrances meant to excite and inspire. Some of them are bold, others straightforward, and they're all captivating. And when it comes to ingredients, honey, the brand goes straight to the source. Haiti for vetiver, France for clary sage, Mauritius for pink pepper. Bitch, we a whole world traveler over here. I love that they collaborate with local small batch farmers for responsible sourcing. Now, all fragrances are vegan and cruelty free, and they have Love High, Get a Room, Almost Single, Mondays, About Last Night, and Bitch Please. Like, seriously, name a more iconic fragrance than Bitch Please. Like, you know what? This is about to be Professor Petty's signature scent. You know, anytime someone comes at me with some nonsense, I'm gonna just hit him with some Bitch Please. Ooh, the shade, honey, I love it. And oh my gosh, it smells so good. So this fragrance is giving Can't Be Bothered. She's giving I Don't Care What You Think. She smells divine with notes of blackcurrant, raspberry, jasmine petals, oak moss, and creamy sandalwood, honey. I also got the iconic fragrance Get a Room, my personal mantra for fall season. Oh, now this is a sensual scent with forbidden apple, mandarin, cypress, vanilla, and a touch of spice, and I am obsessed with this bottle. So tap the link in the description to check out Confessions of a Rebel and use code SWOOP to get 20% off your Confessions of a Rebel fragrance. Act now, confess later, and pamper yourself, honey, because you deserve it. And I will once again be donating proceeds from these sponsors, this time to the National Center for Victims of Crime to help support surviving families. So thank you again so much for like continuing to watch these docs and check out the sponsors. Like, your support is what makes these donations possible, and y'all mean more to me than I can ever express, so just thank you. Okay, back to the doc.
Was here at her Wellington Aero Club home this morning.
So as I said, this story is twisted and there are a lot of different people involved, so I thought I'd give a little breakdown of who's involved so that you don't get lost. So first there's Marlene Warren, wife to Mike Warren and the tragic victim of this awful crime. Then there's of course Mike Warren, the man she was married to at the time of her death, and Marlene's son and witness Joe. Next there's Sheila Keen, a prime suspect, and we will get into her connection with Mike Warren, trust me. And there's John Moran Jr., another key witness in the case. Those are the prime people I'll be talking about. Now, the format of this doc is going to be structured a little different than my influencer docs, and I wanted to incorporate something unique into this. So y'all know how I have like a few kitten palette cleansers in my other docs, right? Like I wanted to also create a palette cleanser for these. I came up with this new concept that I think will be light and fun to break up the heaviness of these stories, and the concept is called Mystery Milkshake. While I'm telling the mystery story, Dirt, some of you guys know, Dirt is here and he's going to blend up a bunch of mystery ingredients into milkshakes for me to try as a palette cleanser. And to keep it interesting, I will have no idea what the ingredients will be. So I'm going to structure it into 4 categories, and it'll start with the base, then we'll add something sweet, then salty, and then savory. And I'm pretty sure savory is where this is going to get disgusting. I'm just experimenting with format here, so please let me know in the comments if you like having the palette cleanser. Cool? Sound good? Okay.
A person disguised as a clown walked up to Marlene Warren's Aero Club home.
Okay, let's first start off at the beginning of this crazy story, and like honestly guys, it's like batshit wild, like you're gonna freak. And I guess to start the story, we'll also start with the first ingredients of the milkshake, so this will be the base of the milkshake. So Dirt, what's it gonna be?
Classic vanilla ice cream and whole milk.
Well, la-di-da! A basic ass base, bitch. Alright, there's like literally no pressure. Ooh, it's thick. I mean, it's delicious. Okay, let's get into this very bizarre, creepy story, starting off with some backstory. So, Marlene Warren was born April 15th, 1950 in Michigan, and as a kid, Marlene was very close to her mother and her stepfather. And Marlene was described as energetic, a good person, good student. She loved being around other people and was very extroverted. So, like, basically everyone loved her and said she had no enemies, right? Ooh. Now, as a teen, she developed a strong love for clowns. I feel like you either love clowns or you just really hate clowns, and I'm definitely one of those people who really hate clowns. Now, this is actually an interesting fact. Like, the family always had a thing for clowns and actually had a place in the house called the clown room.
These are paintings that Marlene had painted when she was about 14 years old. I can almost see her doing this. It gives me a good feeling.
Marlene married super young, like she was a teenager, and had 2 sons, Johnny and Joe. But sadly, her first marriage fell apart, leaving her a single mom in the 70s, but she was a great mom regardless, and like the girl didn't remain single for long. Like in fact, she met and married her second husband, Mike Warren, at 20 years old. Okay, so the couple owned numerous businesses together, which like many of them were in her name, and one in particular called Bargain Motors. Remember that name, it's going to be important when shit gets really weird. And it's going to get really weird. And so in addition to all of those companies, they also owned several rental properties in West Palm Beach, and Marlene managed the properties. So, you know, like old girl was on top of her shit. So like with their wealth, they lived that extravagant life. They owned planes and race horses and had a home at this crazy rich place called the Aero Club in Palm Beach County. Their home legit had their own airplane taxiway in their backyard that led up to a community runway. The opulence, bitch. What the actual cinnamon toast am I doing with my life? These folks got runways, and like I barely got a damn hallway. Okay, it's like 2 feet long from the bathroom to the bedroom. I am already getting wired from this. I should stop sipping so much because there are 3 other milkshakes to sip. Now, while Marlene was thought to be very likable, Mike, on the other hand, never really fit in. You didn't really see him out and about, and his bargain motors business, like as I mentioned, was like a scammy, dirty, used car sales vibes kind of spot. You know, like the ones that are like, no credit, no problem. We're gonna screw you, no problem. You know what I mean? So in 1988, just 3 years before her murder, tragedy actually fell on the family when Marlene's son, Johnny, was killed in a tragic car accident when he was only 22 years old. As you can imagine, Marlene was devastated, and their grief began to strain the marriage, but they did stay together. But later on, after the accident, everything kind of changed with Mike, who just wasn't around as much and wasn't really there for Marlene. Okay, so fast forward now to the day of the crime. It was Saturday, May 26, 1990, and Marlene, who was now 40 years old, was at home making breakfast for her son Joe and a few of his friends. So like, just picture, it's morning time, 11 a.m., they're making breakfast, everyone's like hanging out. At 11 a.m., Marlene noticed a clown that was walking up to the house, and she pointed it out to her kids saying like, look at that clown. If you see a clown coming to your door, it's gonna be kind of weird, but like maybe exciting. And as the doorbell rang, Marlene went and answered it and was greeted by this random clown. The clown had like the whole thing, right? The whole big orange wig, that red bulb nose, and the clown also had flowers and balloons, and when she saw them, her son heard her say, "Oh, how pretty." Like, just imagine, this woman loves clowns, one shows up as a surprise to her door with balloons and flowers. She's probably excited, right? And she says, "Oh, how pretty," which sadly would be her last words, because there in her own doorway with her son and friends in the kitchen, the clown pulled out a gun and shot Marlene in the face. Like, it honestly makes me so sad. It sounds extra, like an extra malicious thing to do to someone like that, like bringing them gifts, making them smile, and then now, when it happened, the kids actually thought the noise from the shot was a balloon popping, but then Joe saw his mom on the floor and he knew that she was hurt. And Joe was like actually in a leg cast at the time, so he sort of hobbled after the clown and he yelled at the clown, who, like, get this, like, who calmly turned around to look at him, and all he saw was the clown's dark brown eyes. But he said that the clown never said a single word. Oh, I just get like goosebumps thinking how eerie that is. The clown just casually walked to their car and drove away. Bizarre, right? So as all of this was unfolding, a neighbor dialed 911, and Joe and a friend jumped into the car to try to chase the clown down, but couldn't find the car. Can you imagine in that situation? You just witness your mother like shot in the front door, and you see who did it, but they're dressed in like a full clown costume, and while in shock, you try and chase after the killer, but don't find them. Like, fuck. Dude, like, now her son Joe was able to identify the brown eyes and that the getaway car was a white Chrysler LeBaron, which is going to be very important information. So police called Marlene's husband Mike, who was miles away headed towards a racetrack with some friends, and told him what happened, and he turned around and came home. So Mike had a verifiable alibi. Now, over at the hospital, doctors determined Marlene had a bullet lodged in her spinal cord, and she was put on life support with her son Joe, who was faithfully by her side, as well as her mom. But very sadly, she passed away May 28th, 1990, just 2 days after she was shot.
Investigators are trying to find the
It was here at her Wellington Aero Club home this morning.
Police said it was the strangest crime they had ever had on their hands, but thankfully they got an early break. So 3 hours after the shooting, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office gets an anonymous call, like, listen to this, an anonymous call from a female telling police to look at Mike, the husband, as the suspect. And the caller said if Mike had an alibi, to then look at a woman by the name of Sheila Keen. One thing I'm so curious about, like, who called? I haven't been able to find any sources discussing the potential caller. Like, where did they call the trace back to? Like, I have so many questions, people, and no one is answering these questions. All right, you guys ready for things to start getting really crazy? Let me introduce you to Sheila Keen, the woman the anonymous caller warned you about. And I guess this is a good time for a quick palate cleanser. So now we're gonna add something sweet to our base. So Dirt, what is the mystery sweet ingredient?
Rainbow nerds.
Nerd? Do people still eat nerds?
Halloween.
All right, we're about to have a Halloween milkshake. Okay, so like, this can't be bad. Like a Dairy Queen Blizzard. A Swizzard. Oh!
Merch coming at you.
New merch coming at you. Swoop's Blizzard is a Swizzard. Oh, so annoying. Oh, I just have a pile of nerds in my mouth. Oh, wow, those are so sugary. I do not remember those tasting like that at all. It's actually pretty good. There's like sweet, but it's also tart. It's fruity. Swizzard! Shit, I don't know what else to say. Alright, so let's get back to the story. So we left off with the anonymous caller. So Sheila grew up in small towns on the outskirts of the Everglades in Florida. And she was described as an attractive country girl who was fearless and tough as nails, and she liked money. Same girl, same. Oh. Now Sheila married her first husband, Richard Keen, in 1987, and she was 23 and he was 41, so that's almost like 20 years older, and they had a son together. Oh, and her husband, Richard, yeah, he was part of the Klan. You know, like the Klan, like the KKK, yeah, okay, so, nothing like a big old plate of Southern grits with a side of country racism. Let's continue. So while married to Richard, Sheila worked at Marlene's husband, so Mike's company, Bargain Motors, as a car repo, which, do y'all know what repo people be doing? Yeah. Now, Sheila's marriage ended in January of 1990, so this is only 5 months before Marlene was killed. Yeah, so it was widely rumored in town that Sheila and Marlene's husband, Mike, were having an affair. I know, shocking. And by rumors, I mean they were caught. Like, employees caught them kissing and having sex in the office. I'd say that rumor was pretty legit. So when police questioned Mike and Sheila, they both said that they were just good friends. Like, you know how many times you be hearing that, like, oh, but we just good friends. You need that old Southern grandma judgment. You know the one? I didn't know if I was gonna do it in this video, but I think we might need to take it to Petty University real quick, because I just... Mike, can I call you Michael? Michael, listen. When employees catch you having sex in the office with the repo lady, bitch, you ain't no good. I just like quit playing, Michael. Do we need to bring out the bullshit meter? Class dismissed. I forgot there were nerds in there. That is so much sugar. Literally just like 4 months before Marlene's murder, it turns out Mike was paying for Sheila's apartment while still married to Marlene. Neighbors said they saw Mike coming in and out of Sheila's home at all hours of the day and night, like so often that they assumed he was her husband and they lived together. Like, this hoe was listed at the front gate as a permanent visitor, but like Sheila out here talking about like we just good friends. Like, girl, bye. You better come get your mans. All right, back in the story. Now, when the police questioned Sheila, she didn't really have a verifiable alibi. Now, she said she was out repoing cars, but like didn't remember which ones. Like, really? But even still, like, police couldn't hold her because the alibi was impossible to verify. So, you know, super convenient. Now, police were baffled at this point. They even looked into if there was a clown serial killer stalking women in South Florida, and wouldn't you know it, because this couldn't possibly get any weirder. So 2 years earlier, another woman in Palm Beach had opened her front door to someone dressed as a clown holding flowers and was shot and killed by the clown. Like, what? Florida, what in the actual Cirque du Soleil is going on, Florida? Now, rewinding back a little bit, after Marlene sadly passed away, the bullet that was recovered from her was a 38mm. And guess which Shady Boots McGee had a 38? I'll wait. Miss Sheila Keen, come on down. Now, Sheila said she kept it for protection from repoing cars, which I think is understandable, but a month before the crime, Sheila told her, like, estranged husband that she had misplaced her gun. Let's recap the known facts real quick. So there was a brown-eyed clown, balloons, flowers, and a car. So police immediately canvassed flower shops and costume shops, and they came upon these two women, Barbara and Deborah, who ran a costume shop in town. Said that a woman came into their shop 2 days earlier who needed a clown costume. So they said that they were closed at the time when she came and asked her to come back the next day, but the woman insisted that she needed it now. They thought it was odd because a clown costume is usually something that's sold near Halloween, but this was May. She bought a costume, an orange wig, a red clown nose, and makeup, and she paid in cash. And they said that she had brown eyes and long chocolate brown hair.
Long, thick, straight, like chocolate color hair. Big brown eyes.
Sound like anyone we know? So, of course, police showed the store owners Sheila's photo and they positively identified her. Wouldn't you know, like, it still wasn't enough to make an arrest. And this story is gonna get so much crazier. So, remember how there were also balloons and flowers at the scene? One of the balloons was only sold at this one specific Publix grocery store, which happened to be only 1,500 feet. That's like a mile from Marlene's home. Now, when they questioned clerks, they were told that a woman wearing white gloves matching Sheila's description with dark brown hair bought flowers and 2 balloons identical to the ones at the scene 90 minutes before the shooting. Now, what about the car that the clown got in at the scene and left? So 4 days after the shooting, police got a huge break when they found a white Chrysler LeBaron in a Winn-Dixie supermarket parking lot that was only 9 miles from Sheila's apartment and 8 miles from the crime scene. But there was no murder weapon inside and no fingerprints. But good news, they did find orange synthetic hair like the clown wig, as well as brown human hair in the car. So remember all of that. Now, the car actually has its own really bizarre story. So the car had been reported stolen by this company called Payless Auto Rental. This is one of Marlene's husband, so Mike's biggest competitors. Now, this is wild. So Payless had their ad for cars, and Mike created an ad that said Payless on his, and Payless accused him of trying to confuse customers into thinking that their company was actually his so that he could steal business from Payless. And it worked. Like a month before, a couple who rented the car from Payless accidentally returned the car to Bargain Motors, not Payless, because they saw the ad Mike made and mistakenly thought that that was the same company. And the couple said that a male employee at Bargain Motors told the company to just leave the car parked on the street and leave the key keys hidden behind the visor. And the car was reported stolen that very night. Like, right? This is weird. So now the owners of Payless suspected that Mike was involved in the theft at the time, but they were never able to prove it. All right, so within hours of finding the car and the hair, investigators got a warrant to search Sheila's apartment, and after searching, they found orange synthetic fibers on her clothing and managed to grab her hair samples from a trash can in her bathroom. And a criminologist compared those samples with the car and concluded that they were similar. But of course, like, similar doesn't mean the same. This is 1990 and DNA testing was still very new, so prosecutors determined that they did not have enough to make an arrest. Which, like, really sucked, right? Because, like, investigators were like, you know, we really think that Sheila is involved, but the prosecution said nope. They weren't able to arrest Sheila, but they really wanted to get, like, someone on something. So while investigating Mike, they found evidence that he was running a chop shop at Bargain Motors. Bitch, I told you this was gonna get batshit crazy, and we've only just begun. This dude would steal vehicles, alter them, and then resell or rent them. And he dumped the cars in Palm Beach County's canal system to get rid of evidence. They charged Mike with 66 crimes, and he was found guilty of 43 counts of racketeering and odometer fraud, and he was sentenced to 9 years, but he only wound up serving 3.5, and he got out of jail December 31st, 1997. And by that time, Sheila had moved, like, completely out of the area, and the case went completely cold. We're talking 27 years cold. Quickly, I think this is a good time to have, like, another palate cleanser, because this shit, I just need a break. So this time we're going to venture into the unknown, and we are adding something salty. All right, Dirt, what is the salty mystery ingredient?
Hard pretzels.
Hard pretzel? This is gonna be terrible. And the next Swizzard! I mean, it smells just like a bag of salted ass pretzels. Oh my god! I want to spit it out.
This can't be that bad.
Oh no, it's not even the flavor, it's the texture. Ooh, it tastes like
soggy bread.
Yeah, it's the it's just like soggy bread clumps.
Oh,
like,
it's not good.
Oh! The way it just shoots in your mouth in these clumps. So a few years after Mike gets out of prison, a reporter discovered, and I shit you not, they discovered that Sheila and Mike got married. They got married in 2002. So Mike literally marries the #1 suspect in his wife's murder 12 years after. What season of Black Mirror are we living in? Because even I know how up that is. So the new couple settled in Kingsport, Tennessee, and they opened a restaurant called The Purple Cow that actually did well for them. Now at the time, they also purchased a 4,100 square foot lakefront home that was like the super exclusive luxury property. It was just across the border in Virginia, and people from the community said that they were hardworking, very generous, but at the same time, neighbors didn't know that Mike had been married married before and didn't even know Sheila's real name because she changed it to Debbie, and she also dyed her hair blonde. I wonder why she did that. Now, while all of that was going on, in 2013, the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office reopened the cold case and formed a task force led by Paige McCann, who requested new DNA testing be done because, like, it's 2013, hunty. Like, technology is much better. Let's catch a killer. Now, for a long time, investigators were being like very hush-hush about the new evidence and DNA that they had. There were rumors it was about the hair samples that they found in the car and the trash can, but like no one knew. They weren't saying anything. While all of that was happening, the, blissfully wedded couple, Mike and Sheila Warren, sold their restaurant, The Purple Cow, in 2016 and moved full-time to the lake house. 26 years have gone by since what happened to Marlene, but in 2017, investigators took their new DNA that they've been all hush-hush about over to a grand jury, and finally, bitch, finally, an indictment was handed down. Okay, so let's talk about the arrest, but don't worry, things are still gonna get really, really crazy. So on September 26, 2017, police staked out Mike and Sheila's home and decided that, like, in the interest of avoiding any potential violent encounter, they set up a roadblock. They stopped and officers just calmly asked Sheila for her ID. She gives it and she was arrested on the spot. And like, take a look at the arrest footage. Like, it's super creepy how unaffected she looks, right? Leave me a comment and tell me what you think Sheila was thinking when she got arrested. So Sheila was charged with first-degree murder and extradited to Palm Beach, where she is currently being held without bond awaiting her trial. But wait, we're not done. Now, the state had released 200 pages of documents with all of the evidence that they would use, as well as the new secret DNA evidence. Ooh-hoo! And there's a lot. I did a lot of digging. So the prosecution documents include a witness statement saying that Sheila got drunk and had told a former employee that she got a clown outfit and killed Marlene and drove off. There's a witness saying she confessed to them, allegedly. And other witnesses also said that they should be able to easily find a lot of photos of Sheila dressed as a clown over the years because it was something she often did for a laugh. Creamy. So remember when Marlene's son Joe said that Mike stopped supporting the family after her other son's car accident? Marlene's mom, and this is really chilling, Marlene's mom also said that Marlene had confided in her that she thought that Mike was having an affair and that she wanted out of the marriage, but Marlene realized that like many of their assets were linked together and actually told her mom, if anything happens to me, Mike did it. Like, can you imagine? Like, I literally have goosebumps. That is so creepy to me. Ugh. And another thing that is perhaps like the craziest part of this. So before Marlene was killed, her son Joe was represented by an attorney on an unrelated issue who had reported to authorities that a year after the murder in 1991, that Mike had approached him, the attorney, and asked him what the ramifications would be if a husband killed his wife on her estate. I shit you not, fellow milkshakers. What would happen if a husband killed his wife on her estate? I'm just curious. I don't have any reason why I'm wondering. I'm just... But like, what's worse, the attorney actually answered Mike. So he told Mike that if the theoretical husband used an accomplice that he couldn't be tied to, like a clown, he would get off scot-free. Like, what? Like, are attorneys giving murder advice now? All of this gets crazier. Another witness for the prosecution came forward with evidence. So his name is John Moran Jr. We'll call him Junior. So Junior's father, John Moran Sr., had worked with Mike at Bargain Motors. He reported and revealed that he helped his dad, Sr., get rid of a vehicle that they dumped in the canal system that contained all of the evidence, the clown costume, the gun, and everything that they were wearing that day.
Have you ever heard of a deathbed confession? My father told me everything that happened before he died.
So John Moran Sr., on his deathbed, told his son that the car was a second getaway car, and that because Junior, now that Junior knows this as well as the exact location of the car, Junior could blackmail Mike and get anything he wanted. The milkshake is officially shook. And Junior also told police that after Sheila's arrest that Mike had called him and tried to bribe him to buy his silence about the car. So investigators checked his phone records and they found that a burner phone had called Junior around the time that he said Mike was calling him. But the burner log also showed that the burner had called Sheila's defense attorney on several occasions. So like, who could possibly be calling Sheila's defense attorney and Junior? I'm gonna guess it's Mike. Oh. Okay, it's time for what I've been dreading the most. The final milkshake, we are gonna add the savory ingredient. Dirt, what are you gonna destroy me with?
Pickled beets.
This bitch knows I hate pickled beets. This is our first one. I thought maybe we would start off easy. Ice cream, milk, nerds, salted pretzels, and pickled beets. I mean, I did this to myself.
See how pretty it is?
Swizzle! Oh my gosh! It smells like earth and vinegar.
It's that good, huh?
Oh, I think it's the fucking texture of the pretzels just ruins everything anyways.
Rehydrated the pretzels back into their dough form.
Yeah, no. So it was finally revealed in court documents that were filed in November of 2020 that they found a strand of human hair with the root still attached in the white Chrysler LeBaron, and that it does in fact match Sheila's DNA, which was why they finally made an arrest. And I didn't mention that Joe, Marlene's son, witnessed the clown wearing dark boots, like not clown shoes, and they found dark boots at Sheila's house with traces of orange wig fibers that match the exact wig that was bought, as well as orange fibers found on the balloon ribbons that were left at the scene. So boom, roasted, creamy, bring on the milkshake, cause bitch, you got, okay? So since prosecutors dropped the death penalty, she is now facing a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 25 years. And prosecutors actually discovered that Sheila tried to hide more than $1 million in assets while claiming to be poor to try to get the public to pay for her trial costs. Like, she's literally the worst. So I just learned that Sheila's trial, which was scheduled to begin next week, has actually been pushed back to March of next year, 2022. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, what do you think will happen? Do you think Sheila is guilty? Do you think Mike is involved? Like, it's kind of hard for me to imagine he's not, because like, the bitch is garbage, you know? That ass is trash, okay? Did I just really? That ass is trash. Merch 2022. We'll wait for the trial. Are you ignoring me? Are you ignoring me? Y'all know this little pork bun, one of the kittens I've been fostering from the billing department. There are still a couple kittens available for adoption. If you're interested, please DM me on their Instagram at Bill Farrell. Do you want to ask them or should I? Pork would like to know if you're following me on Instagram because he says I'm very lonely without you. Couple of Twitter shoutouts from my Gabbie Hanna doc. First one goes to Kristen Wish, who said, I've watched this yesterday and it's pretty effing right on point with the things not many other people are talking about when it comes to Gabbie. And shout out to Tack Ship, who said, SWOOP is the queen of calling out hypocrisies without sitting on a high horse. She also almost always manages to point out something I didn't consider before. Listen, y'all keep it real out here and I so appreciate your thoughts. If you want to be in my next shout out, just follow me on Twitter at SpankyV and retweet this video right here. Be sure to check out Confessions of a Rebel by tapping my link below and use code SWOOP to get 20% off your Confessions of a Rebel fragrance. So I know that there are a lot of true crime and mystery shows, which I love, but I do wonder if sometimes they almost feel like they romanticize the evil, like for lack of a better word. And I want, like with whatever I cover, to make sure we always circle back to who deserves the final focus. And those are the victims and the families they leave behind. In this case, Marlene Warren and her family. And from what I've learned from my research, Marlene was a truly wonderful, gentle, bright, brilliant woman with an unshakable love for her children and a passion for her businesses, and had a genuine excitement for life and building a better one for her family. And I hope in some way her family finds some elements of peace and healing, and that Marlene's life will be remembered as a blessing to those who knew her and loved her and hear her story. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Be good to each other, do something nice for a stranger, and I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed. Swoop!